Ready? Ready? Okay. Welcome everybody to the regular town board meeting and public hearing of the local law, July 24th, 6 p.m. I'd ask everybody to please turn off cell phones, electronic devices. Assisted listening devices are available for the hearing impaired. I'll ask everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'll ask for a moment of silent reflection, please. Thank you very much. Donnie, want to read the public hearing?
Yep.
Notice?
Notice of public hearing, Town of Lewiston. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Lewiston on the 24th day of July, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall, 1375 Ridge Road, Lewiston, New York. The meeting will be live streamed via Zoom software, and the public may participate in the live stream via Zoom by using the following link. Said public hearing is regarding the adoption of a proposed local law entitled "A Local Law Establishing a Temporary Moratorium on New Short-Term Rentals in Town of Lewiston," an abstract of which is as follows. The Town of Lewiston recognizes the growing interest in short-term rental properties uses in the Town of Lewiston. It is further recognized that the short-term rental use is not currently authorized or properly regulated under the Town of Lewiston Code and could be incompatible with the existing character and property uses in some areas of the Town of Lewiston. It is further recognized that this incapability would potentially compromise and inhibit more appropriate growth as established by the Town of Lewiston's comprehensive plan and zoning code. Therefore, the purpose of this moratorium is to allow the town board the opportunity to draft a short-term rental law and or update the town's current zoning code as appropriate, including but not limited to a determination as to whether short-term rentals should be permitted within the Town of Lewiston, and, if allowed, an analysis of where and in what manner short-term rentals are most appropriate. These effects are undertaken to promote and protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Town of Lewiston. The complete text of said law is on file at the office of the town clerk and is available for review by any interested person during normal business hours, or can be emailed upon request. At such public hearing, all persons interested who wish to be heard will be heard. Dated July 10th, 2023.
Thank you, Donna. Al, you want to address it?
I'd just like to make a public statement before the public comments are held. That this law effectively is to provide the town board with some time to do their due diligence on this subject. I suspect that we're going to have comments both for and against the subject of short-term rentals tonight. I just want to let the public know that you will have an additional opportunity to provide comment, not only tonight, possibly at another meeting to be called by the town board, but also if when the town does come up with a final resolution and a proposed law on the subject, there will be another one of these public hearings where comment will be made and taken into consideration by the town board. So just so that the public is aware, this is a place setter at this point, and effectively going to be maintaining the status quo as the law exists for 2023 and July 24th.
Okay, thank you. Nobody signed up for the public hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to speak in regards to the public hearing? Okay. Could be a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The agenda approval. I need to add under my liaison report, Niagara County Community College request for lighting. Under Councilman Myers, it will be lighting in Sanborn, Christmas lighting in Sanborn. Does anybody else need to add anything?
Nope.
Let me make sure. And actually, under finance, we will have a budget transfer, I believe. Right, Jackie? Budget transfer? Okay. Can I get a approval of the agenda as amended?
So move. Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we have resident statements, which nobody signed up for. Is there anybody that wishes to address the board in regards to other topics besides the moratorium? Okay, moving on. We have a audit presentation. Carl Widmer is here from Drescher Malecki for our 2022 audit presentation. Carl, it's all yours.
So as long as everybody can hear me, it looks like. All right, thanks for the introduction. Carl Widmer from Drescher Malecki here yet again for another year's audit report. We completed our audit of the town's fiscal year ended December 31st, 2022, and we're just about ready to release stats. So here tonight to run through an overview of the audit itself, the process, sort of remind everybody here what the responsibilities are from Drescher Malecki as the auditors, and also of management of the town as you take responsibility for the financial statements that are ready to be released. Similar to past years, we put together a short slideshow. I think that's been distributed here. We did get a chance to meet with management a few weeks back to make sure that numbers are reconciling on both sides and discuss our observations a little bit more detail than I will tonight for the full presentation, for the full board. But if you want to follow along, we can run through this year's audit. So tonight, the presentation outlined three main parts. First off will be auditor communications. Essentially, as your external auditors, we have a few items that are required to be communicated to the town board each year. We'll cover that on the next slide. Then we'll move into a very high-level overview of the town's 5 major funds. So your general fund, town outside village, highway, water, and sewer. And we just do 2 graphs for each of those funds to take a look at trends for the last 5 years, both their revenue and expenditure activity, as well as the fund balance levels. Finally, to wrap up with some observations, and that's sort of a catch-all at the end. If you have any questions that don't fit throughout the presentation, please feel free. But I also don't mind if you interject if it's relevant to what I'm talking about at this time. Please feel free to jump in. So on to the next slide, the auditor communications. Our responsibility under generally accepted auditing standards is to plan and perform an audit of the town's financial statements to ultimately get to the point where we gain enough assurance that we can give our professional opinion that the numbers in those financial statements are fairly stated, that they can be relied upon. I like to also point out that the financial statements, while oftentimes they might be referred to as the auditor's report, we have a couple pages in there that are on our letterhead, but the numbers, the financial statements, the footnotes themselves, that's all responsibility of the town. The finance department maintains these financial records throughout the year. There's varying internal controls and processes that payroll, expenditures, receipts that they go through each year. This final financial statement report, we simply help to compile it, but the numbers and the responsibility for those numbers lies with the town. One other item I like to bring up at this presentation is to identify that the focus or the scope of our audit is to get to the point where we have assurance over the dollar amounts in the financial statements. It is not directed or searching for fraud. And I think oftentimes when you hear auditors, you directly associate it with there's fraud. Someone's in here, that's what they're searching for. That is not the case. Drescher Malecki is hired by the town annually to perform a financial statement audit. That's not to say during our procedures that if there were any material substantial amount of dollar fraud, we're pretty confident our procedures would uncover that, and we would report it to the board if we were to find it. Happy to say there's nothing indicative of any likelihood of fraud with the audit. Just like to make that statement. The next two items, we did go over in more detail in our exit meeting a few weeks ago, but significant accounting policies and estimates. I mentioned the town is maintaining these records throughout the year, and with that, there are certain calculations and estimates and policies and procedures that go into the amounts included in the town's financial statements. And the point of this communication is really in the spirit of transparency. If any of those estimates or policies or procedures were to have changed from years prior, it would be my duty to inform the board that, hey, this year, the way that such and such was handled differs than it's been handled in the past, so that you knew if you could or couldn't compare to prior years and consider apples to apples. Fortunately, this year, there were no significant changes, so this year's financial statements you should be able to hold up against 2021, and it should be a fair comparative statement. Next up, independence. We are the external auditors. I mentioned before, we're giving our professional opinion that the numbers maintained by the town and presented in their financial statements, that they're fairly stated and that they can be relied upon. So it's imperative that the external auditor is unbiased and objective. So each year, we review myself, the audit team, and in fact, everyone at the firm, we say, what are the relationships that we may have with the town of Lewiston, and evaluate, is there anything that might impair our independence? And again, this year, there is nothing that comes up, so luckily there are no conflicts of interest, and we're in the right position to serve as the town's external auditors. But that's something that we review each year. Finally, under other matters, I'd just like to state what the deliverables are, what are the products each year. Of course, you have the financial statements. You have a management letter that we write that has some best practices or recommendations. There's a formal auditor's communication letter that puts all these items in black and white. We also perform a smaller cash basis audit on the department. So the town clerk, tax receiver operations, as well as the town justice is subject to an audit. And one item that we wrapped up back by the end of April, the town is required to report its financial information to the state controller's office on their specific software. It's called the AUD. We helped the town prepare that document and submit it to the state, so that was completed by its due date. So moving along, get to the financial statement update, the numbers. First up is the general fund, and this first graph, it's a line graph, just looking at the last 5 years of revenues versus expenditures. And what you can see here is after 4 years of positive returns of revenues exceeding expenditures, 2022 switched it. You spent more than you brought in this year. This was, of course, by design. I'm speaking to people that knew it. The town was in a position to look at what fund balance and money was on hand to take care of some capital improvements. It had been identified for capital improvements. And this year, you see your red line, your expenditures went up. That's directly related to the general fund sending money to pay for capital projects. So that's the real reason for the increase in activity. Revenues stayed substantially the same, but expenditures of $3.4 million exceeded revenues of 2.9, and there was a net decrease in fund balance of $463,000 this year. So on the next slide, you can see then your equity position, your fund balance for each of the last 5 years. And you see, of course, the first 4 years an increasing bar graph there, and then for 2022 a decrease. That's that $463,000. This is also the format that will carry through the presentation. Looking at 2022, a total fund balance of about $2 million. You do focus in on the dark blue portion at the bottom. That's called your unassigned, and that's considered your available fund balance. And if there's one number that a reader of the financial statement will look to evaluate a town's health, they're going to look at the available fund balance. So here you have $1,126,000 in your unassigned. They take that number and they compare it to the whole year's spending. On the previous slide, we saw $3.4 million spent in the general fund. This amount represents 33% well as looking at the general funds, your other operating funds. You can also do the same comparison to other towns' general funds and see how you stack up. Next one, town outside village. Very similar trend to your general fund. They've been making money the last 4 years, but in 2022, it inversed. Moved forward with a bunch of capital improvements. Expenditures went up nearly $1 million compared to last year, and that's the majority by way of transfers to the capital projects fund to spend on capital improvements. Revenues, slight increase, a little bit fortunate on the state aid side with some mortgage tax, but the fund balance decreased $576,000 compared to the prior year. The sharp increase in both revenues and expenditures here is directly correlated to the town's receipt of that ARPA money, the relief money that came through. That represents $675,000 that came in and was spent. On the next slide, we look at the fund balance. Again, it's growing over the first 4 years of the graph, but then you see the decrease. That's $576,000. Your available fund balance is shy of $2 million, and that represents 41% of the year's spending. Down a little bit from the prior year. It's really based on the denominator being the whole amount of spending. Last year was only 3.8 million. This year is 4.8. So it's been a real smaller ratio. Total fund balance at 2.5 million. Highway fund, again, while it's a smaller gap of revenues over expenditures for the first 4 years, it again saw the same trend where it was accumulating or increasing fund balance. 2022 traded, spent more than brought in. Total spending of $1.1 million in revenues of about 3.8, a net decrease of $271,000. A big increase in activity each year. There's a lot more paving. Also, the cost of materials and supplies that run through the highway fund. 2022 was a big year. You saw that, if you want to call it inflation, the factors that resulted in increased spending here. On the revenue side, we did have a fortunate and favorable year of sales tax money coming into the town as well. On the next slide, you see that decrease of $271,000. Total fund balance is at about $1.2 million. And what's available, you were able to grow that. In years prior, you had a little bit more money assigned for capital improvements. Being as you went forward with those capital improvements, some of those needs have gone down, and you now have what's considered available fund balance of just over $1 million, representing 25% of the year's spending. The last two funds are utilities funds, water and sewer. Water district, for the last 3 years, has had favorable outcome, decent bumps in fund balance. This year, it was a net increase of $375,000. On the next slide, you can see that despite even a decrease in property taxes in this fund, revenues were still able to exceed spending, and total fund balance is now up to $1.9 million, which is 79% of the year's spending. This is a fund that the graph really tells a story. You know, if you were here 4 years ago and I was giving a presentation on 2018, 2019, that was a really tough time to look at a fund that spends a lot of money annually and only had $300,000 in its fund balance. So the plan to move forward and grow a more comfortable fund balance in this fund is coming to fruition. Final fund that we'll look at tonight is the sewer district. Here, the expenditures and revenues came just about as close as you can to washing out for zero. There was a decrease of $40,000. But revenues and expenditures were about $3 million. Again, we were able to reduce property taxes in this fund. And as far as fund balance on slide 13, again, pretty similar level compared to last year. But what you'll notice is your available fund balance decreased where the town decided to assign a little bit more money and earmark it for equipment and other capital improvements. You also, in the 2023 budget, had planned to use over $600,000 for that. While we do focus, and our primary objective is to look at the dollar amounts and make sure that they're fairly stated, we also look at those policies and procedures, the internal controls of the town. We work with many New York State municipalities to see that things are being done the right way. There are no reportable findings, so it's a good thing, a good report card, if you will. In the management letter this year, there's a comment that we discussed with management with a variance that's been unreconciled in the bank reconciliation. That's something that we're working with the town to put you in contact with someone that might be able to help track it down. It's not a significant dollar amount, it's just something a little pesky item that can't be reconciled. It's got to get digging and overall, I mean, you saw the numbers. The town is still in a stable financial position, adequate fund balance on hand, while at the same time able to put a big chunk of investment in the capital improvement for 2022. It's nice to see. Everyone that we work with, Jackie and the department, really cooperative, timely responses. We also work with those other departments. Everyone is really quite good with this. We just found it, yeah. So we appreciate it from that side. It was a pleasure. Anybody has any questions? Otherwise, we do anticipate the additional financial statement by this week or next week.
Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
You can come back anytime you want, though, good news like that.
Department head statements moving forward. Donna, anything?
Yep. In regards to the Dickersonville Cemetery, a couple months ago, we had started taking over the opening and closing of the graves at the cemetery. I've spoken with one of the funeral directors, and he's helped guide me a little bit to get the fees a little bit more in line with others, and had suggested that we do burial hours because all cemeteries have them. So the highlighted area in front of you is what I'm asking for approval to add to the rules and regulations for the cemetery.
I'll go ahead and read that. So, opening and closing of a full grave shall be done by the town of Lewiston workforce at a fee of $500 Monday through Friday, $600 on Saturday, and no Sundays and or holidays. Opening and closing of a cremation grave shall be done by the town of Lewiston workforce at a fee of $250 Monday through Friday, $350 on Saturday, no Sunday and or holiday. After hours available for an additional charge of $50 a half hour. Hours of burial are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. Sunday and or holidays, no burials. So that's the gist of the changes. I would ask for a motion to approve
I'll
these
make that
changes.
motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Don. Anything else, gentlemen?
That's it.
Captain, anything?
Our 3 new recruits finished the academy on Friday.
Mike,
We have started.
can't hear you over the radio.
Our 3 new recruits finished the academy on Friday, and they started their field training this week. So they'll be coming by to introduce themselves and say hi, but they're in their field training process.
Okay, good. Tim, anything? Nothing. Jack, you're on the agenda. Deputy Supervisor, anything? Nothing. Mitch, Zeno, anything?
Nothing.
I know Danny Zeno couldn't make it tonight. Bob, anything?
Oh, fine.
And Al, you're all set. Melinda.
Well, we're continuing with, all our activities at the senior center. If everybody didn't get a copy of all the students able to take a look at that. Is this working?
Pardon?
When you Zoom, you really can't hear the one like.
You can hear it out in the hall, but you don't hear it in here. I don't know what's.
This week, tomorrow, we have technology help for people that need help with their cell phones. Joanne Allender comes in and helps. That's really neat. A lot of our seniors and a lot of people in general need help with their cell phones. We're offering that tomorrow. Also, on Friday, we have flower arranging, and then anything else is in the newsletter. I just want to point everyone out that August 30th is our end of summer picnic. We're going to have the pipe organ, Jim Nice Stop in and check. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. I tell you what, every time I go by the senior center, there's more and more cars there. So if anybody has a senior in your family, please encourage them to use the senior center. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on down there. A lot of people they're going to know. We definitely want to build that up and get it more active all the time. And Melinda's done a real good job with that. So thank you very much.
The picnic is indoors, correct? Is that what you said?
And Tim Smith.
Hey, Tim.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Supervisor Council. That's my first time being on this. Just want to get you guys updated on some of the things going on. Our baseball season is wrapping up. We had a total of 25 teams with over 330 players. We have our 2 camps going on at Kiwanis Park and Sanborn. Our numbers there are 92 are registered. At Kiwanis, we're getting an average of about 50 kids per day with 8 counselors. Sanborn, we have 37 registered, 27 on average with 3 counselors there. We did charge this year because we are a day camp. That's going great. Get positive feedback. We actually opened it up to more kids to register because we did have the openings because some of our people that did sign up weren't coming, so we did open up to more kids in the community for both Sanborn and Kiwanis, which is great. The health department was here. They did give us a permit. They were very pleased with their supervision of the facilities, so that's going great. What else do I have? A lot of stuff going on with our yoga in the park that's going on currently. We do have karate, beginners karate coming up in August, and also in September we will have a cornhole league going on. Pavilion rentals are going great. We've got positive feedback on the one down in Fletcher Road, which Mr. Supervisor knows about. Also, I need you guys to mark on your calendar, if you could. Tuesday, August 1st is our Carnival Day. Both camps will be at Kiwanis. So if you guys can maybe attend between 1 and 3, come hang out with the kids from the camp and play some Carnival games with them. We'll appreciate it.
Did you say 1 and 3?
Between 1 and 3, yeah. By the time you get started, both camps will be actually it'll be down at Fletcher Road. Excuse me, make that Fletcher Road.
Yeah, Fletcher.
It'll be Fletcher Road, yeah. The 18th, which is the final day, will be celebrated on this both camps. Any questions?
Now your yoga in the park is this Saturday,
Yep.
and it's at our new Fletcher Road, or Lower River Road Park.
Fletcher Road, yeah. The beginner karate will be at Kiwanis for now. And then the cornhole, we're still deciding. We think we're just going to do it Kiwanis for now. We're just trying to see what kind of feedback we get to that. For the month of September, maybe we can go over there for next year.
What time's yoga?
Yoga is at 9 a.m. on
9
Saturday.
a.m. Lower at the
And then karate's 10.
Riverfront Park.
At Ballin?
No, I won't be there. I will be at that's next week. No, I was gonna say I'll be at the drop-off, but that's the following week. So, good. Thank you very much. Oh, let's see here. Approval of the meeting minutes of the town board meeting from June 26th. Bill, I know you had a
One
correction.
Move for correction on the town board meeting on page 60. The second line down, it says HR-97. Please remove the R.
It's just H97.
Just H97.
Okay.
Move for approval of the June 26th, 2023 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Move
And
for approval of the special town work session on July 10th, 2023, as printed.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Audit payment.
My duty. July 23rd, pardon me, July 20, 23, July 24th, 20, boy, am I in trouble with that. July 24, 2023, got it. I move for approval of the regular abstract of claims of the numbers 23-01792 through 23-01969 and recommend the payment of the amount of $531,331.28 plus the post audit of $11,922.73, and that is the motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Nothing under pending old business. New business, any public correspondence, Tom? No? Under my liaison report, Upper Mountain Fire Company roster edition. This is from Upper Mountain Fire. Please add the following individual to our roles as a new member of the Upper Mountain Fire Company of Lewiston, effective today. That would be Ronald Argona, 1057 Escarpment Drive.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Legal. Al? Oh, actually, hold on a second. We have a request here from NCCC. They're having a concert, Niagara County's biggest birthday party on Friday, August 11th with the Nerds Gone Wild. And they are requesting the use of our lights that we used to utilize at the ice rink. So it asks for a motion to approve them to use our lights from the ice rink.
So moved. Discussion.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second? Go ahead.
I would assume that they're accessible.
Yes, I believe so. Yep. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And that's on Friday, August 11th. Al, legal?
I have nothing to add at this time. Working on a couple projects, boards and
How about the local law?
if you want to
Yep.
go forward with it.
Yes.
I would suggest that you make a motion to accept, to close the public hearing, ready to move forward. I will do it on a roll call.
Okay.
So we already closed the public hearing.
Yes, we did. So,
Motion.
yeah, we need a motion to either approve or disapprove the local law.
Move to approve the local law number 1 of 2023. Local law establishing temporary moratorium on, I'm going to say new short-term rentals in the town of Lewis. Can we get rid of that word new, or we?
And I think it's irrelevant in the sense that the body of the law covers the issue. I think that you're alluding to.
That's my motion.
Okay.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Well, we have to do a roll call vote.
Councilman Guyban?
Yes.
Councilman Jacoby?
Yes.
Councilman Morial?
Yes.
Councilman Myers?
Yes.
And Supervisor Broderick.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Anything else, Al?
Nothing, the clerk's office has the responsibility of the state. Nothing needs to be done.
Okay. Bob, engineering, anything?
All good.
Finance? Jackie?
I previously submitted budget revisions for approval from the board. There are 4 in the fiscal year 2022 for the building audit. There are 2 from the fiscal year 2023.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And then also under finance, our Riverfront Park, we need to move, we have some incidentals left we're buying park benches, we bought some trees from A1 Land Care, we got benches, we got garbage cans, we have some concrete that needs to be put down, just some incidentals, and the fund is getting low. It's not really a greenway fund to go to, but we have money in the A fund and the B fund. So I talked to Jackie, and of all our funds, we came up with $50,000 from the B fund and $50,000 from the A fund to move over into the Riverfront Park fund.
When you say from the fund, you mean fund balance?
Yes, from fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Good. Councilman Guyban, anything?
Nothing.
Councilman Jacoby?
Nothing.
Nothing. Councilman Morial?
Yes, I got a few things on my agenda tonight. The first one is request for sewer forgiveness. I have 4 names that I'd like to make a motion to approve. first one is Matt Culateri, 4669 Jason Court, for $99.39. Ellie and Mike Bettolato, 4275 Wolf Run, for $45.92. Third one, there's no name given, but it's 4921 Creek Road for $40.90. And then Robert and Kathy Schaff, 1018 Escarpment, $130.86.
Motion?
Well, then we also have, well,
We'll do that first.
yeah, we'll do this first. It's a motion to approve the sewer refund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, real quick. We checked with Jeff Ritter. Jeff approved all these sewer refunds and said they fit our code. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And actually, Jeff, you still there?
Yes, I am.
I forgot all about you, buddy. I hate to admit that.
That's okay.
Do you have anything else for the board under department heads?
No, I don't. Just what you're talking about right now.
Okay, sorry about that.
And then we also have one, the following request does not fit with the town sewer use agreement and it will not be approved. It's for Thomas Ivanich at 4685 Hickory Lane for $89.97. That's also a motion that will not be approved.
It does not, according to Jeff, it does not fit our sewer agreement.
Need a second.
Second.
Well, okay, you made a motion?
Yes.
Can we get a second?
Right, so moved. Second.
So we have a motion and a second not to approve that sewer refund. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion,
Opposed?
discussion.
Yeah.
Why didn't it meet our, sounded like his water was pretty well ruined and he had no choice other than to drain it, right?
Jeff,
Yes.
do you want to explain what? Go ahead.
Buying a liner or redoing the concrete in your pool, that's where we have drawn the line.
Okay.
If you can't get the chemical makeup right in the pool, I could only see this being a slippery slope.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah.
you, Jeff, for the explanation.
You know about that, John?
I read it, yeah. No, well, I couldn't afford to put that much salt in my pool. Okay, thanks. I vote yes for that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, on the second part of my agenda is we need to appoint David Warnick. We have a vacancy on the zoning board. And David Warnick is an alternate. We would like to make him a permanent. So this will be a motion to replace Pat Romer on the town zoning board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And that leaves an opening for a alternate, correct, Tim, for the zoning board? We have two alternates, so we'll just throw it out there. If there's anybody that's interested as an alternate on our zoning board of appeals, there are availabilities, and we appreciate anybody volunteering their time.
Steve, are we looking for two or one?
Two. So,
Okay, and last, I have a resolution that I will be proposing tonight. It's in opposition to New York State Senate Bill S-139B. Town of Lewiston, resolution number 2023-003. Hell, I have to read this into the minutes, I take. Oh,
If you'd like to,
Can I move to read as presented?
you can do this presented also. I mean, I would explain to the public what it's about.
okay.
well, go ahead and make the motion in a second. We can kind of explain
All right,
that.
it's a motion to, the state wants to pass a bill that judges have to be attorneys to try criminal cases. And the town is passing a bill here to not support that. So basically, it's a resolution not to support that. There's not enough, we went to the Association of Towns, actually Bill and Donna researched it, and the Association of Towns says there's not enough attorneys to fill the judges' positions if this bill goes through. So we're fighting it, and this is a resolution.
The rural areas.
Right, in the towns and villages. So
You wanna make a
basically, I'm
motion?
gonna make a motion that we adopt this resolution, and it's number 2023-003.
Second as presented.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And a copy of this is available with the town clerk. Like Rob said, it's basically, we want to let the voters of the town of Lewiston decide who our justices are gonna be. There's already a provision where if it needs to go above the town of Lewiston court, there's a means for that. So there's code, or there's laws that our judges can enforce, there's laws that they can't enforce, and then that would be the situation where they would go to a Supreme Court or a county court judge. So, and this, like I said, this is supporting our two judges, so, if anybody wants to see a copy of it, it'll be on file at the town. All right?
That's it for me tonight.
Okay, Councilman Myers.
Yeah, so we were looking at replacing the Christmas light decorations in Sanborn, the large 3-foot snowflake decorations that you see on Buffalo Street there. The ones we have now rusted and breaking, and these new ones will have efficient LED lighting. So it would fall under a good project to use the 6.5 megawatt money that we have
Yeah.
allotted for the town. And I went and got 3 quotes, and the one to go with the lowest bidder, Manico, and it'd be a price of $7,900 for 17 on all the lampposts down the street there in Sanborn. Can I make that motion?
Second.
We have a motion, a second, and again, it'll be from our H98 funds, which is the energy money that we get from the Power Authority. So we have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The only thing we need to do, we're also looking at replacing the lamps, the poles up there. The poles now have plug-ins for these lights. We just need to make sure the new poles have plug-ins for the lights, or else we'll have a bunch of snowflakes that don't light up. So, anything else? You want to give a quick report about the Farm Museum this weekend, this past weekend?
Sure, yeah, they had great turnout on Saturday and Sunday, so they're scooping ice cream. And it's nice to have them, you know, the volunteer work that goes into putting on something like that is pretty tremendous. It's a small group of pretty dedicated people in Sanborn, and appreciate them.
For those people looking for nice family activities, keep an eye on what goes on at the farm museum out there. There's some nice,
Especially
nice
their,
things.
especially their dinners. They got some
Yeah.
dinners coming up. They're always delicious. So, great. Resident statements. Does anybody wish to address the board in regards to anything? Okay, with that, upcoming board commission meetings. We have no August work session. Our historic preservation is August 8th at 5:45 p.m. Environmental Commission, August 8th at 7 p.m. Our Zoning Board of Appeals is August 10th at 6:30 p.m. Our Planning Board is August 17th at 6:30 p.m. And our town board meeting, our regular town board meeting will be August 28th at 6 p.m. And don't forget yoga in the park this Saturday morning. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make that a second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thanks, everybody, for coming.